Greetings! Welcome to our show, Ghosts R N.E.A.R, where we discuss various aspects of the paranormal and paranormal research and exploration. I am your host, Keith Johnson. With me is my co-host, Sandra Johnson.
Hey there, back in the studio.
Back in the studio. And we are the founders, of course, of New England Anomalies Research, also known as NEAR. Now, this evening, we have a very special episode for you. It's a subject we've really never touched upon before, not completely in detail, and that is alien abduction experience and support.
Still paranormal.
And I'd like to introduce our special guest. We have Audrey Starborn of Starborn Support.
Hello, how are you?
And Deborah Paiva, who is your case researcher, correct?
Correct.
And I'm sorry your sister Debbie couldn't be with us this evening. Of course, you and Debbie are identical twins.
Yes, we are.
And that makes it very unique, because I'm an identical twin as well, and you know, in the paranormal research field, so we're few and far between.
Yep.
Hi, Deb. Miss
Hi,
you.
Deb.
Yes, we really miss you. We really do. And
Next
wish you were here.
time.
Next time.
Yep.
Next time, be here. Okay. Now we have a lot of questions for you. And how are you feeling, by the way?
I'm great. I mean, we just got done doing a conference, and I
Yeah,
finally
your big
get to
conference you did. You
finally
must
get to
still be
relax.
off it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was 4 months. We only had 4 months. I just said I'm going to do a conference, and just kind of pulled it together. But it was a lot more work than I planned on.
Oh yeah, when you do your own
Always
conference,
is.
that's trial by fire.
Yeah,
When you do that yourself, you realize how much goes into it, and you're so spent at the end. You just,
but now
Question
I know.
is, do you want to do another one?
Yes, we're going to do it
Okay.
every year. It was so awesome. I mean, it was great. It was called Experiencers Speak, and it was like we had 21 different speakers that were all abductees, and they came in from all across the U.S. and Canada, and we spent the whole day. We had Travis Walton, Peter Robbins was there, Kathy Martin, Christopher Bledsoe Sr., and we just had it going all day long. It was wonderful. We had a great turnout, and the message and the connections, that's what we wanted.
That's the main thing about these conferences, is getting to network and
Yes.
meet with people.
Yeah, and that was great. And Debbie really, helped me out, and couldn't have done it without her. And my team is it's the best. We did it, and now we know what to do next time, what not to do.
Sure,
we
learn by
learned.
experience, sure.
But it's definitely going to be an annual, once-a-year thing. So,
Excellent.
yeah,
It'll only get
it was
better.
great. Yes, it will. Yeah.
Great. Well, I think we can probably just get right into what we want to talk about.
Okay.
Alien, what takes place when there is an abduction experience?
Okay, usually it starts for most people when they're children. For most people, they remember things at night. They'll be laying in bed. They'll feel a humming sensation and vibrations through their body. They won't be able to move anything but their eyes. A light will come in and fill their room. They'll start to feel presences and see presences. And then they'll, sometimes remember being lifted into the air and straight through, solid walls. I've been, taken through my ceiling, through mirrors. And it was interesting because I guess there's a new study done. Kathy Martin mentioned in her speech that, they're actually doing things with particles where if you get the vibrations to a certain frequency, that it can travel through solid objects. So, you think about the extraterrestrials or the multidimensionals or whatever they are, having, advanced technology where they could maybe get our bodies to that type of vibration. So, that explains how you get stiff, but you can feel the vibration and you hear a certain vibration, and then you go right through the walls. So you got to think of it as advanced technology that we have no idea about, but we're starting to research. So it is possible, and most people say, oh yeah, you're going straight through the wall, it's got to be a dream. You're paralyzed, it's got to be sleep paralysis. No, and these things happen during the day. Missing time is another common thing, where somebody will, know what time it is and perhaps be doing something, and they'll wake up in a kind of a daze. They'll, it'll be dark out when it was daylight last they remember. They'll look at the time.
Right.
I just had to be upsetting.
Yeah, I just had a call tonight where a guy in California was really panicking, and he had told me about him. As a kid, he used to go meditate in the woods, and he said he was meditating during the day and he had to be home by supper time. So he went and he sat down and he started meditating, and next thing he knows, it's dark out, and his parents had been searching for him full force with a whole search crew for hours, and it was the middle of the night. So that's just an example of things that happen. There's also, daytime experiences. I had an experience in my vehicle as I'm driving down the highway, and I knew I was almost to my exit on 95 to go home. And the next thing I knew, I was in this strange toll that I'd never been at before. And I didn't know where I was, so I asked, I felt, kind of like, okay, what's this guy going to think when I say, where am I? But he told me that I was in Gloucester, and I don't even know where that was. And when I looked at the map, it's on the total opposite side of where my truck was when I was driving. Mm-hmm. So, the skeptics will say sleep paralysis, but, did I fall asleep behind the wheel and drive? No, it doesn't happen that way. And it's so frustrating when they say that, because there's people experiencing, almost identical things all around the world, and they all have the same hallucination. It just doesn't make sense. There's another explanation for it. We wake with physical marks and bruises and implants and memories. I mean, we remember certain things. We do wake up. I've woken up on the exam table and seen the spaceship, the beings, what they were doing. And usually when they realize you're awake, they'll come just like a doctor would if you woke during surgery, and that's it. You go back to sleep. So it's very traumatic for people, and but at the same time, I suffered for a long time with the trauma. And then as I grew older and started having more communications with these beings and working with others that are going through it, a lot of people think that they're actually harming them. But what if they're actually helping you? You got to think of it that way. And they tuck you back into bed. They try to make you not remember so you're not traumatized. I mean, it doesn't sound like malicious intent for the most part.
There.
But there is, others that aren't so friendly. So there's there's different races. Mm-hmm. And depending on which one, is contacting you and coming, it can be, a whole nother ball game with them. So mm-hmm. There's two different agendas here, I believe, and benevolent and malevolent. So it's traumatizing and enlightening at the same time. So it's confusing, to say the least. Mm-hmm. But as long as you get a grasp on yourself and realize that there's nothing you can do to stop it, so why not try to understand it and accept it?
That's a good attitude to have.
Yeah, and it took a long time to get there, but I work with people now and help them get there. So it's important for me to have people be able to talk to me, because I've had my twin sister my entire life, and she's been dealing with the experiences with me. And then I think, what would I do if I didn't have her? And most people go through it alone.
Actually, that was going to be my next question. Your identical twin sister does have these experiences as well. Do they sort of seem to sync up with, do your experiences seem to coincide with hers?
Yes, yep. We have had many shared experiences, especially as children. Mm-hmm. As children, this was just, what happened when you went to sleep. You didn't know that nobody else went through this. This was normal for us. So as we grew older, and we would start to tell people, and they'd be like, what are you talking about? This doesn't happen to everybody, and you have that innocent child look at it, and then they tell you, oh no, it's just your imagination, or, boogeyman's not real. So we started keeping journals and drawing pictures in our journals, the 7-year-old girls. And my mother found the journals and looked at the pictures and said, wow, you know, they got really good imaginations. And she was in the grocery store one day and saw Whitley Strieber's book, Communion, and there was the pictures in our journals on the cover, which is a typical gray alien, or Zeta, as they're known as. And you know, things started to click because we would say, we don't want to go to bed. The bald man is coming, and you know that was our boogeyman, according to my parents. But after the bald man and the Whitley Strieber book, you know, it became more real. And she, you know, we never really talked about it a lot.
Can hardly blame your parents, though.
No, of course. Yeah, they don't know what to
attitude.
do, you know.
No.
And it's really hard. That's why we're starting a family outreach program now to try to teach families and friends of experiencers how to help. And they don't have to really do anything except be understanding and respectful and supportive, you know, and just listen to this person without judgment. Don't tell them that this isn't happening, because for the experiencer, it's very real and it affects them. And when you say you don't believe them, that's even worse than the experience that they're going through that you won't listen to. And, you know, my researcher, Debbie, has been with my sister and I in our lives for
1986, I think.
Since 1986, and we've been really close. She's always been there. You know, she never really understood what was going on, but she was supportive, you know, and she's a lifelong friend, and we don't have many of those.
But Deb, you've actually had some sort of experience yourself.
With the girls, I've experienced lost time with both of them on several occasions.
When you're with them? Yeah,
but only when I'm with them. Sleepovers at the houses where I was interesting, because they never woke up in the same beds either. They'd be switched, and I'm one of the few people that can tell them apart. You know, as being a twin, it's kind of hard. Sometimes they don't always know which one you are, and I've always known the difference. You know, you have to just be there, be a friend, listen, understand, and even when you don't understand, never tell them you don't understand. Just love them. Just be there.
We went around the same rotary the other day.
Yep, and you said, what was it, if that black truck comes again at us, we're in trouble.
There it was again, like we were put right back in that situation. It was
when we were planning for the conference that happened.
And that's interesting, because it's almost, I mean, the missing time, and that was like the same exact thing happened. So it's almost like they reversed time and put us back into the same moment at that. And that doesn't happen a lot. That was a new experience for us, and it was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
we were in Gorham.
Yeah, we're getting ready for the conference, actually. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much to this, and I've actually made friends with Matthew Moniz. At the conference, he came out to the world that he was an experiencer. He finally admitted to everyone how we met, which was on a spacecraft. When we met, my brother was playing at a Hells Angels bar in a band, and Matt was doing the sound. And I walked in, and my sister, and we locked eyes, and we recognized each other from a spacecraft. Walked right over to him, started talking, and my brother's playing his original song called My UFO's Up on Blocks. And it was just this amazing moment, and we have kept that secret for 20 years. And he looked at me the other day, and this was the best thing about the conference. He said, Audrey, I'm going to come out to the world tonight. And I just jumped up and down and gave him a hug. And Peter Robbins has been keeping that secret even longer than me. And it was just magical. I mean, it was so emotional. I cried so many times. I had to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Because these people actually poured their heart out. And when Matt said, I want to ask a different question to the audience. Who here is not an experiencer? And like 8 people raised their hands.
Yeah, there was about 8 of us that raised our hands.
8 people out of, you know, over 100 people, and that was amazing. And that was the first time it had ever been done. And you know, the connection, it was like a family reunion. You know, like we'd known each other, and it was amazing. And you could just see it happening. The magic was everywhere, and it was just, it was great.
That reminds me, very early on, we did have Matt on the show.
You did, now you got to get him back.
Yeah.
And so I guess we have actually touched on this subject. I mean, he even had a sample, he had brought a sample with him.
Oh yeah, he brought some a sample from Roswell
sand.
and you know, UFO soil and everything like that. But, He didn't touch on the subject of being an abductee,
No.
but
The first time
I mean,
was
he and I
Saturday.
have privately discussed that.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Well, now we can have him on the show.
Yeah, maybe we can have all you people on together. That might make sense.
I mean, he's been our scientific advisor and scientist
From the beginning.
brother for a long time. He was the one that said, "Audrey, you're ready." And I said, "No, I'm not doing that." I don't, you know. And then I went. It was a couple months or at the most, and I had a encounter with the more human-like. Angelic beings, which I believe are the angels that come out of the Bible, because that's them. And they told me, "Audrey, you're ready, and you're going to call the group Starborn Support." And I woke up the next day and I did it. So, you know, with a little help and encouragement, and, you know, they've been with me the whole time, and they do help.
That's been my personal experience with angelic beings when I was very, very young. And I don't know if you're aware, but in the Bible, actually, St. Paul describes something that could be likened to an abduction experience.
Sure.
It's an out-of-body experience, and he's taken to the seventh heaven.
Right.
And he describes it to a minimal detail, but then goes on to say, I can't reveal what I've seen.
Wow. There's a lot of things in the Bible that can be, you know, I mean, I've like the pillar of light, you know, and the burning
Rails
bush.
straight with that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so
Exodus,
much. Yeah, if you think of it as, okay, let's read the Bible and everything in here, let's look at it as, okay, the aliens are the angels, and we could totally read it and understand it that way. And, you know, I believe that once they do reveal themselves, which I think is going to be soon, all the answers, you know, to humankind's questions, you know, from the pyramids to Roswell to the Bible, can be answered by that one thing. As they are, you know, we're not alone in the universe. And this is a very exciting time, because everyone I work with, everybody at the conference, even the news coverage that was, you know, asking questions, and I said, you know, something's going to happen soon. They said, well, everybody's saying that here. Why is that? Because it's the truth. It's reality. We're, you know, having these experiences for a reason. I think, you know, we each have our own job to do. I've been told by the extraterrestrials that everything we need to know lay dormant inside us and will activate when we need it. And I remember being in classroom settings and learning and asking the teacher, why can't we remember? This is not time to remember. And just recently, during the Venus transit this past May, I had just this flood of memories come back to me. And I started to remember a lot of the things that I learned. I remembered before I even came to this earth, and it was just incredible.
You work with some therapy too
Yes.
now and everything.
Actually, I am now a certified hypnotherapist, and I'm doing that myself. And, you know, I like to do it in a way where, you know, I make sure that the experience is ready, because these memories are forgotten for a reason. A lot of them are just so different and intense that, it, you know, the human psyche can't deal with that. And it really pushes a lot of people over the edge, including myself after my first session. It scared me so much, I never even wanted to look back. You know,
that's
and
why
just,
so much is suppressed.
Yes. Yep. And it's not meant to be activated until the time is right, and only certain things.
Sort of like the crystal skulls. It reminds me of the crystal skulls
That's right.
and the theory behind that. We haven't really uncovered or unraveled their story, but we will when we need to.
It's coming soon, I think. Max is wonderful. I don't know if you ever had the chance to sit with Joanne Parks and Max, one of the crystal skulls.
Is that the one that was
Wonderful.
Right.
down at
He's-
TapCon,
I see him
Florida?
twice a year, and that's another special thing. And I think he'll probably start popping up, you know, different things. And the Mayan poses, you know, going to start to surface. They've been, you know, taken away. They didn't die in it. They're hidden. Various things will be intentionally leaked out into the public. And, you know, like the media's going to start, they already are. A lot of, you know, turning TV on, there's aliens up everywhere.
I have to be honest with you. Nick Jr. last week ran a whole week on space, and they were teaching us about intergalactic communication and thermal energy, and I was just like, even the kids are being programmed now, starting younger.
And the planets that they're discovering, the Earth light, you know, and now we're Mars, and that's what they're going to find. So, and there's a lot of change going to happen, and proof coming at us, and, you know, the human race has to be ready for it. Because it's coming. I mean, they've been spending, you know, their entire existence wondering. The answers are coming. Don't be scared. This is it. This is the truth. This is what you want. So it's time to listen to what these beings are going to tell you, because If you don't, you know, they're going to tell you what to do. You know, so many people are going to be scared. And
right. But I'm sure, and as a word of caution, I'm sure you agree that there is a lot of deception out there.
Exactly.
Too. I mean, there's deceptive people.
Exactly. And that's the thing, that the fear-mongering is going to start. There may be what's considered and called Project Bluebeam, which is artificial alien invasion, which is the holographic images, and the return of Christ. They're going to, you know, project, in theory, supposedly.
You know, that's predicted in Revelation.
Yes. And it's I was actually told by the beings that when this does happen, there are certain kind of cameras that will pick up thermal temperature changes, and a holographic image will not project anything back. So you can get the equipment to check it out, you know, which makes sense. And there's got to be some kind of a heat signature on the real thing.
Absolutely. Betty and Barney Hill and Travis Walton, how your, these are sort of very famous, obviously, experiencers. How do your experiences compare to what maybe our audience have seen on the History Channel or Travel Channel?
Because they're literally physically abducted into the craft.
Yes.
You know, probe experiment and return with lost time and have to arrest everything. It's very, very, very traumatic, invasive experiences. They feel very, very violated. I mean, what's the difference?
It's a fine line. The Greys, Zetas, I believe, are the doctors and scientists type that will physically take you, and they do all the scientific and reproductive and the experiments. And I have woken on the craft.
So that has happened.
That has
to you.
happened, yes. Yes, I woke up. It was like, you know, waking in a hospital room, and you know, once they discovered I woke up, it was like if you were under anesthesia and surgery on and put you back out. Yes, at one time I did get off the table, and there was a nice scuffle, which has happened to several people I know. And after that, they made sure that the next time they came, I was going to wake up, and they were a little more hostile, and it's really dramatic. And whatever they used to paralyze me actually didn't just numb me, it actually burned if I tried to move. So they use something different when you actually fight them. And you know, we just spent some quality time with Travis Walton, who was at our Experiencers conference, and we've actually met some of the same beings that he did, and we were talking about them. I mean, the same exact one.
And the way the media portrays this, especially, I mean, you get the Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T., the extraterrestrial, were very, very benign beings and very, very friendly. And then you get to Independence Day, you get the opposite side of the coin. And, you know, like,
well, there's two sides. There's a good and a bad. So there's also good and bad with the same species, just like there would be with humans. You know, they're all individuals.
Makes sense.
They're all individuals. They all have, you know, their own brains and their own minds, and make up their own minds and decide what's up to be on. And you could definitely tell the difference when they come in. I mean, when you're going to have a bad experience, the energy is something I can't even explain. It is just, you know, sucks your soul out almost. It's really heavy and hurts, and you can feel their presence coming. And when they come in, they don't care if they tuck you back in. They don't care if you wake up. They don't care if you go to sleep. That is a totally different experience. So those are the types of experience that really traumatize an individual. And if that's the only type of experience they're having, and they're not getting any of the benevolence and the kindness and the enlightening experiences, then they're going to be scared. They're going to be convinced that they're all bad. And you know, just like anybody that's been abused. You know, if you're abused by a man, then you fear men, dogs, you know, birds, anything that's abused by a certain thing, you're going to fear. And when you're abused by something that you don't understand, something that's not human, something that doesn't even exist in most people's mind, then you're going to be scared of everything that's not supposed to exist. And it's just, and you can't be told otherwise, you know. And I feel bad because there are so many enlightening experiences that are out there, and I wish that everybody could experience that.
Right. I remember back in the 70s when this was getting a lot of, you know, initially, and a lot of people were afraid. This was a fearful, fearful experience. You had that TV movie about Benny and Barney Hill, Bernard Hughes as a psychiatrist, and James Earl Jones, and
Interrupted Journey.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and that made it look like a very, very disturbing, fearful experience.
Exactly. And a lot of that is intentional, and you know, they want to keep the fear. And you know, the dark ones like the fear, they thrive on it, and they want to create that and keep that. So why not put that into everybody's mind, so that's, you know, that's their mentality. And E.T. originally was supposed to be an evil little scary being, and Steven Spielberg changed his mind, you know, so, and it's like, why? And now he's going a totally different direction, and really getting a lot of the truth out there from what I feel is the truth. And I'm glad, you know, because I mean, it's Hollywood, you know, with the alien invasion and everything, and it's a total possibility, but, you know, how do we know that hasn't already happened, and this is the results of it, and they're just continuing on with the mind control, manipulations, and we're just, you know, a slave race working for some malevolent force that we don't know, you know, I mean, there's so many possibilities.
But your opinion as to the ultimate goal, from what you're saying that everything is increasing. The ultimate goal by imparting knowledge and making themselves known, making themselves visible to you, having the interaction, their ultimate goal, and this would be coming up soon, is that they want to reveal themselves to us. And
well, you know, if you go back, most cases are genetic lines, they go through families and generations. Now, if you think about the hybridization program, well, they've been working on families for many generations and manipulating a certain family line, then, you know, who's to say that they're not integrating a race that didn't rise up in this world, in our own armies, in our own society. And if they turn us on, then we're all here. It's going to be an easy way to have some control here.
We'll have to have you back on again and have more of the group on too. You know, you two have been wonderful. It's been great having you. Anybody in our studio audience who would like to come down and actually meet members of Starborn support, please do so now. Feel free. And we want to thank you so much for being our wonderful guest, and definitely have you on again. This is a fascinating topic.
As usual, I didn't get to have the question.
It goes so fast. Wow.
I'd like to give a quick shout out to my friend Ann DiPasquale, who has been in Rhode Island recently bringing awareness of special needs people who are our brothers, sisters, our family members, our friends. So thank you, Ann, and we hope to have you back. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for having us.
Come back anytime.
Guys.
Finally.
I know, it's been years.
Yeah, Starborn.